I'm Vinny Politan. Great to have you with us here on Closing Arguments. This hour, we have a lot to get to. Let's begin with Lindsay Shiver. She had it all, folks. She had it all. There she is on Instagram. She had looks. She was a beauty pageant woman. She was a cheerleader in college. Fell in love with her college sweetheart who was on the football team. 3 beautiful kids. Mansion in Georgia. Private jet. And vacation home in the Bahamas. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. It wasn't what she wanted. What she wanted was at Grabber's Bar down in the Bahamas. That's where she had an affair with one of the locals, her Bahamian lover, and now she's accused of conspiring with him to hire a hitman to murder her husband. Well, she's in the Bahamas. She's not locked up, but she's not allowed to leave the Bahamas. But today was going back to court. Matt Johnson, of course, there he is, chasing her down as she enters court, trying to get released from the Bahamas and come back home for the holidays. So there's Matt on the scene, and guess what? Joining us for all today's big developments, Court TV crime and justice correspondent Matt Johnson, live from Nassau in the Bahamas. Matt, great to see you. Good work as always there. Let's begin here. Lindsay Shiver's going home for the holidays?
She's heading home for the holidays. Nice to see you as well, Vinny. She had one wish for Santa, and the courts here in the Bahamas, they granted it. Even despite her husband taking the stand, being sworn in and testifying that he's afraid of her. She is now able to travel to the U.S. and leave for the holidays. Here's her reaction after. Lindsay, your reaction to going home. Your message for the boys. Mr. Wells, what's your reaction?
None of this time.
Lindsay, are you excited to see the boys? Your message for your boys at home? What's it mean to be going home, Lindsay? The former Alabama beauty queen not really answering questions, but smirking at times when I was asking her questions there. What we do know is that she is now heading home for the holidays. Her attorney offered this statement to Court TV right after she was released. Let's put that on your screen. Lindsay is thankful for the court has agreed to let her return to the U.S. so that she can see her kids. Her attorneys will continue to prepare for the trial, and we look forward to vigorously defending Lindsay because she's innocent. Shiver has not seen her kids, as you know, Vinny, since she was arrested back in July, and then since she spent 19 days at Fox Hill Prison here in the Bahamas. So now she's heading home, and she's hoping to start those visitations.
You know, it's interesting, since those 19 days in the prison versus the subsequent trips to court, she's beginning to look more and more like Lindsay Shiver from Instagram and a lot less like an inmate. I mean, it looks like she's doing okay. And hopefully she's in a good state of mind if she's going to see those kids. Now, you mentioned that we heard from Robert today inside the courtroom. How did that play out?
Right, so this is the first time that he's broken his silence in a lot of ways. He was sworn in. He had his attorney by his side. He was back in the States, so he appeared via Zoom. And this is what he told the court when he was asked. He said that after reviewing the indictment and the situation was close to happening. He was concerned for his safety of himself. And then he asked the court not to allow his wife, Lindsay, to be able to travel to the United States. And if she was granted permission to travel back home to the U.S., not allow her to travel to the state of Georgia at all. He told the court that he was so concerned because of this, quote, "For the physical and mental safety for my kids and myself, I'm thankful to be alive." Well, Lindsay Shiver had her back to the video screen during his testimony. She didn't look up at it. I did notice from time to time she was looking down, shaking her head in disagreement with what he was saying about his safety, and also anytime really that he mentioned the kids.
So whether or not she gets to see the kids, I guess it would rely upon what the family law attorneys are doing in the whole divorce custody settlement. Do we have any information about that, or have they been keeping that under wraps?
Well, it's a different system. It's a different country and a different court system. So what we did learn about the fact of her pending divorce is that there hasn't been any litigation because they've been dealing with the trial here. So now that she's going to be back in the United States, she's going to be able to attend things for her divorce and then also those custody matters and hopefully be able to see her kids. Her mom is going to be the go-between with setting up those visitations because, again, she's not supposed to have any contact with Robert.
Absolutely. That's understandable. He's the victim in the allegations. So, and again, it's always the best interest of the kids, and it may very well be in the best interest for them to see their mom. We'll let another judge or the parties work that all out. Let's talk about this criminal case, though. Did prosecutors lay out some of the evidence, something related to an alleged confession here?
Right, you know, and we've heard about this alleged confession from time to time, and we heard that after the photos were sent and that text message allegedly saying kill him, that there was a confession after an investigation. So we were learning more about that today, more about the Crown's case against Lindsay Shiver and the co-conspirators. So when the prosecutors had a chance to speak today, they didn't oppose her being able to travel to the U.S., but they did oppose the fact that her defense, Mr. Wells, kept on saying that she's innocent and that she never gave a confession. So they wanted to set the record straight, and they read from the affidavit. Here's part of it. They said during an interview with police and Lindsay Shiver, she was asked, did you tell Terrence Bethel and Farron Newbold that you wanted to kill your husband? According to the Crown, she answered yes. And then when she was asked by police and detectives, did Terrence Bethel tell you that he wanted to kill your husband? Again, she answered yes. And Vinny, so we're getting a glimpse at the case that they are going to be presenting come March next year.
Yeah, and my understanding in the Bahamas, a little bit easier to prove that stuff because there doesn't have to be this substantial step, you know, like buying a weapon or setting up an exact time. But we'll see how that all plays out. Now that everything has changed for her, what are these new requirements that she has, these new bail requirements?
Right. And the big requirement that has changed in all of this, she's able to travel to the U.S., right? And when we're talking about just the magnitude of what she's charged with, in case you can't, a lot of people at home don't understand the difference. It's a different system, right? So the conspiracy to commit murder is actually on the same level as murder in this country. So she faces the same penalty of life behind bars if she's convicted. So here's her new conditions of release. Let's put those on your screen. So under the new terms, she can travel to the U.S., will continue to wear the ankle monitor device. It's equipped to be able to be tracked in the U.S., is required to be at all court hearings, the pretrial hearing, and then, of course, her trial in the Bahamas. Required to stay at her parents' house, that's in Alabama, and stay away from Robert and his home. The only time that she can go to Georgia, according to the Bahamas authorities here, is when she has any court appearances, again, with custody or her divorce that's pending. But again, she's moving back home for the holidays with mom and dad. They're the ones that paid the $100,000 cash bail, you know, when she was released from prison. And they've been footing the bill, according to the court today, $7,000 to $20,000 a month. And that's been a hardship on them.
Wow. Now, the other thing is, you know, the trip back to the U.S. could be a little different. Not flying in the private jet anymore. She's going to have to go commercial, I think. So go through TSA.
Yeah, she's going to be next to me in coach.
There you go. Matt Johnson in coach, folks. How about that? All right, Matt, thanks so much. Fantastic reporting.
Of course.
And have a great holiday season. Happy New Year. And I know you're going to stay all over this story. All right, let's bring in our think tank, folks. Join us tonight in the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia, criminal defense attorney Eklund Mercy. Also with us in Phoenix, Arizona, criminal defense attorney and the attorney represented Jody Arias, hates her, Kirk Nurmi. And in Los Angeles, California, El Presidente of the West Coast Trial Lawyers and former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani. Great to see everyone tonight. All right, Eklund, I think when she gets back to the U.S., there's going to be some serious family law litigation taking place here relative to, can she see the kids? I mean, couples always fight that are separated about the holidays. This is like on steroids. She's accused of murdering the father of the children. So what are your thoughts about this battle for the holidays and seeing the kids?
Oh, it's about to get ugly. But as a criminal defense attorney who's also done family law, we always say that in family law, we see, in criminal law, we see bad people at their best. And in family law, we see good people at their worst. And the fact that, thankfully, there are no bodies, it's not a homicide, but this goes to show you how ugly these cases can be. I think it was a poor decision for her to make bond because, you know, the saying of, you know, give a person enough rope to hang themselves. The fact that it's going to be an ugly court battle and you're already on bond for trying to kill this man, it's going to just be disgusting. And I think that Bahamas actually set their case up. She's going to give them everything that they need for a prosecution. So as a criminal defense attorney, I think it's a bad move to make bond, but I think that it's going to quicken a conviction in her case.
Kirk, Nurmi, I don't know what to, you know, obviously I've never tried a case down there. You know, we had the Anna Nicole case we covered years ago. That was not a criminal case, so I don't know advantages, disadvantages, et cetera. But what do you think the impact is of her being permitted to come back to the USA?
You know, I'm stunned by this, Vinny. My experience in Arizona, somebody charged with a crime of this nature, they wouldn't even make bond, right? And the fact that she was on house arrest, and now the fact that she's able to leave the country in spite of the victim's pleas to the contrary is really disconcerting to me, because the impact of the case is really going to be kind of somewhat related to what Eklund touched on. What's she going to do? I mean, she was willing to commit murder. What's going to prevent her from cutting an ankle bracelet off? We heard the victim say he feared for his safety. So I think her actions and conduct, I mean, I'm assuming she waived extradition, but, you know, I think she's got something up her sleeve. I mean, if she's willing to go so far to murder, she wants back. I don't know that this really has anything to do with the civil case, because really, is she going to gain custody of her children when she's being prosecuted for first-degree murder in the Bahamas? No, I fear she has something up her sleeve that could be more and bigger beyond this case and might have her catching charges in Georgia.
And you know, how she reacts to all of this, Nima, will speak volumes about who she is, right? The plea was home for the holidays. I want to see my children. They are small. They are young. If there's some funny business here, we've seen it in other cases, that may basically eliminate her chance to ever see her kids if, when she comes back to the United States, flees instead of battles for some level of visitation.
Oh, I agree, Vinny, and Kirk nailed it. I mean, you're talking about a potential life case, and what I learned today is if I'm going to commit a crime, I'm going to commit it in the Bahamas. I mean, what a joke this release is. You know, in the United States, there's no Christmas exception to get someone out on bail in a life case. Judges look at two factors: risk of flight and danger to the community. I mean, she has no ties to the Bahamas. She's one of the biggest flight risks there ever was. And someone who's willing to kill her husband.
Commercial flight risk, though. She's only a commercial flight risk now, Nima.
Well, she's got those points. I think she's going to upgrade to first class, or at least business. You know, but Vinny, I mean, I can't believe we're talking about someone who's accused of attempted murder, just strolling out of court and flying home for the holidays. This isn't a Lifetime movie. This is court TV. This is real life, and this is an embarrassment down there in the Bahamas.
I'm going to have to disagree. I think that, again, we're dealing with Bahamas who cases like this, they don't see that often. And I think that the manpower necessary to protect, you know, that they also have other cases as well. It's not LA, it's not Atlanta. So this one major case is going to bring all types of court TV and media. I think that it was well played to be able to listen, take care of your stuff in the States, and we'll prepare here for when trial actually happens. Yeah. So I think that it's more of a judicial economy type argument versus, her getting off scot-free.
I agree with Nima to a certain extent here that at least pre-trial, to be a criminal defendant accused of, trying to put together a plot to murder someone, it is better in the Bahamas.